Have you ever wondered how Kasgazat made his intro video so cool and stunning? Well, no worries. The adventure of animation is waiting for you. Even if you are a complete beginner, we'll guide you step by step to transform your static designs into engaging stories of animation. So, are you ready to animate your ideas? Let's watch a short glimpse of our video first. Now let's jump right into this tutorial. As we are creating a motion graphic for Ozone Day, first open Adobe After Effects and create a new composition, naming it Ozone Day to fit the theme of the celebration. Next, we need to import our vector assets. I am using Adobe Illustrator for this task. Import your vector file into After Effects, and to ensure that each layer is properly organized, click on the vector layer and then the 3 horizontal lines in the layer panel and select Release to Layer. Once you see all the individual layers, drag them out of the original layer group and delete the original layer. So your file is ready to be imported into After Effects. And then import your updated file into After Effects, making sure to select Composition under Import Kind and click OK to bring in your assets with their layer structure intact. Now select all the layers of your illustration and right-click and convert it to objects. With the assets now in place, it's time to add a camera. You can do this quickly by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus C. To control the camera and add a null object by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus Y. Position this null object in the center of your composition and then parent the camera to it by dragging the Pick Whip tool from the camera layer to the null object layer. Finally, convert all the layers into 3D layers by clicking the 3D layer switch, which looks like a small cube next to each layer in the timeline panel. This setup will give you a 3D space to work within. To enhance your understanding of the 3D space we are working with, you can change the perspective of your viewpoint to a 2-point view. This option is available right below the viewport and helps provide a clearer view of your 3D setup. Now, let's move on to an essential part of the editing process, that is naming your layers. To rename a layer, simply click on it and press Enter. Properly naming your layers is crucial as it reduces confusion and keeps your workspace clean and organized. With the layers renamed, we can now focus on positioning the camera and layers. Start by placing the camera at -2000 by adjusting the position of the null object. Since we have parented the camera to the null object, moving the null object will also move the camera. Next, position the layers with a distance of 250 or 300 units between them. This will create depth and achieves a nice parallax effect. Adjust the sizes of the layers as needed so they fit well in the viewport, keeping in mind that layers further from the camera will appear smaller. Repeat these steps until all layers are positioned correctly. With the layers in place, let's animate the camera. To move the camera from one point to another, add at least 2 keyframes, as keyframes mark the position of an object at specific times and automatically will animate the movement between them. To make the transition smooth, ease the keyframes by selecting them and pressing F9. For more precise control, you can adjust the keyframe curves manually using the graph editor. If the animation looks good, move on to the next illustration. Before we proceed, ensure that the layers of the second illustration are not visible as you navigate through the scene. Create a new null layer, parent all the mountain layers to it, and move them down as needed. After adjusting the visibility of the mountains, repeat the layer positioning and adjustments, adding keyframes to animate them with a bit of bounce. With the mountains animated, continue with the remaining layers and review how everything looks. Remember to be creative, add different elements to make the video unique and enjoyable. Now, let's add some birds for ambience. Apply the wiggle position effect to both the birds and clouds to introduce some subtle movement. Adjust the effect settings to fit your needs. Finally, we'll add text elements. Animate the text to make it appear as if it's emerging from the mountain valley. And that's it. And then to final export your file, first select the composition you want to export. Then go to File, choose Export and click on Add to Render Queue. The render queue will appear in your workspace where you can adjust different settings for your export. By default, the settings will be set to best settings and high quality, which will work perfectly for this export. Next, click the hyperlink next to Output to, as it will likely read Not Yet Specified. After that, select the file location where you want to save your exported file. Once you have done that, click the render button and wait for your file to be rendered. This process might take some time, so be patient. Rendering is crucial as it converts your project or videos into a final playable video file, ensuring all effects, animation and edits are accurately compiled and viewable. While your animation is getting rendered, there are few quick tips for you guys. First, if you are rendering a large file, press the caps lock key to pause the render preview. This will ensure that all processing power is focused solely on rendering your project, rather than splitting resources between rendering and previewing. Second, H.265 allows high quality video compression, reducing file sizes while maintaining visual fidelity, making it ideal for delivering 4K and HDR content with efficient storage and bandwidth usage. Third, always use official licensed software, as it eases the workflow just like we imported our assets from AI to AE. Fourth, remember the shortcut keys. Fifth, the most important tip is to stay creative. See how straightforward that was? We are sure that now you have got an idea to create your own Wanderlust. If you like the video, do like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get yourself updated for amazing tutorials. Until then, bye!